Hello everybody, welcome back to Creating Haley. My name is Kimberly. I am your host here today, and in this episode, I'm creating a new block, and I'm doing this because we just did the Old Glory, well, maybe a couple of quilt blocks ago. We did the Old Glory block, and I will show you. We made this pinwheel as part of the Old Glory block, and I will try to link that video in here somewhere. But I had another one left over, and so this one, and so I wanted to create something different, not just do another Old Glory block, but I wanted to use the same fabric. And since July is approaching, I thought, well, let's create a brand new block. And so this is what I have so far, and you can kind of see what I'm doing with these stripes. I'm just making them run like one end off. Oh, except for this one. Oh, well, yeah, this one ran off. And then this starts the second layer. So, as you can see here, this starts the second layer. So it's going to come over here. This runs off. And then here. And then this runs off. And then over here, this runs off. And then down here, this runs off. So, I'm just taking the scrap pieces that I have, and I'll show you. Right here, these are my little scrap leftovers. These are pre-cuts to make the pinwheel. These are little extra pre-cuts to make the pinwheel, and with the half square triangle on the side or on the corners. And then this is all the leftover fabric I have. So this is all the white I have left over. This is the red, and this is the blue. So I've been using the red and white to make these strip sets, and then if you want to, you can add the blue on the outer strip, which I haven't cut yet, but that's what I'm doing so far. So let's take a look down here. Okay, so what I've done so far is I made the inner square, and then I'm just creating this outer square right now. So what I did was I cut strips from this fabric, and I just placed right sides together. So right here, right sides together, and I cut an inch over. So I cut only an inch, cut that along straight down, and then I sewed the two together, face sides together, a 1/4 inch seam allowance right here, and then I pressed it open, and now I have a strip set. And I did that 4 times for the small one, and then 4 times for the bigger one around. Now, I had to break it up a little bit and make these types of strip sets. So the long end goes one way, and then the short end goes the other way, and that is to finish off the 90-degree corner, if that makes sense. So once you do this middle pinwheel, what I did was I kind of measured this, and I cut a 7 3/4 inch strip. So I cut a 7 3/4 inch strip. Once I put these together, I made my strip set 7 3/4 inch. And then what I did was I cut 1.5 inches off of the end. So that leaves 6 1/4 inch. So 6 1/4 inch, and then a 1.5 inches on the end. And that creates this right here. So if you look at this strip, sort of. Actually, this is a little bit different. This was, I just messed that up. That is not correct. That is not the way I did this first one. This was the first one. And you can see I just made it one length long. So this is, I just told you the wrong thing right there. So this is a 6 1/4. 6 1/4 inch. Yeah, this is a 6 1/4 inch. So make your first strip set 6 1/4 inch, and then you start there. And then you attach your 6 1/4 inch strip set to one side of this. And then you can start, it's kind of like a log cabin where you keep going around and around and around. So once you do that, then the next row, you take, so what I was trying to explain to you, you take your inch, so you make your strip set, and then you take your 1.5 inch and you sew it onto here, like this, right there. You know, pretty sides together, 1/4 inch seam allowance, open that up, and now you have this unit right here, okay? And then you put that on. So pretty sides together, 1/4 inch seam allowance, iron that open, and then you have this. Your next piece is the same. So you do the same thing. So you have your strip set and then your opposite one like that. Okay, you sew that on and then you sew that on. And then your next go round is similar to that. So here I have it again, just a regular strip set right here. Yeah, if you can see that. And then the next strip set is going to be, so this is 7 and, I'm sorry, it is 8 1/4 inch. Is that right? So it's about 8 1/4 inch. So now your block is getting bigger. So this is 8 1/4 inch. And now this is going to be even longer. This is going to be 9, looks like 9 1/4 inch, okay? So this strip set should be 9 1/4 inch, and you lay it out like so. So this completes its tail, and then you run that up. Now this one's a little bit longer, but I'm just going to show you what I'm going to do right here. So I line this up with this white line up with this white line, and it should go in the same direction. And then if you pretend this is sewn and then you open this up, you can see that runs off the edge, and then this goes straight up over, and it should line up here. Now I'm going to have to trim that off. And then your next row is the same. So this now comes here, you line this edge up with the white, and then it runs off there. And then you have one more, and then it should end right here. So let me take this to the machine, and I will show you what I am talking about. Okay, so let's take you over here. Bring this here. 1/4 inch seam allowance, straight down. Alright, I gotta make sure my seams are flipped the correct direction. Boom. Now this is a little bit extra. I'm going to trim that off. But once you take that out, you open that up. Now you can see how that was attached to here. And that goes off the block. And then this comes up, and then you trim this part off. You can use a ruler or scissors or whatever you need. There you go. And then you're going to line the next one up here. So your white line goes here. So your little 1.5 inch piece goes right here. And then your next, what did I just say? An 8 1/4 inch strip. 8 1/4 inch strip goes here. So I need to cut this down to 1.5, attach this to here, and then attach this onto here. So let's do that right now. I'm going to measure this out. Okay, so you don't, yeah. So measure this out, 1.5. 1.5. Oh, that's not straight at all. And then I'm going to attach it to here because it's going to go on here. So I'm just looking at this, and this goes this way. So I attach that onto here, and 1/4 inch seam allowance. Open that up. Now I like to press it open, but for right now I'm going to just add this onto here. Now you want to make sure you line up this part with this part. You can see that, right? My finger's out of the way. Line up this with this, and then this, the white always goes to the inside. You can put your white to the outside if you want. This is just the way I'm doing it. I'm just creating this right now. I'm not following a pattern. I've not seen this anywhere before. This is kind of my